actually got some snow. Not much, just enough. Well, good morning there. So I posted my video on YouTube and Patreon of the body butters, but I totally forgot to post the recipe, so I need to go ahead and knock that out really, really quick. Another day of vlogging, another day of making. I'm going to make a batch of bath bombs today, and this is a different recipe because I've omitted the cornstarch. I've had several questions about how the bath bomb will function without cornstarch, so I'm omitting that ingredient today. And it's also a special recipe. I'm making some for my daughter because she's got celiac disease, so she cannot have rye, wheat, or barley. So I've got some special oats for her that are gluten-free, and I've also made sure that all the other ingredients that I've had here are gluten-free as well. Celiac disease is quite serious, and unfortunately many people don't realize they have it or even a gluten intolerance until years later in their life. We didn't find out that my daughter had it until middle school, and once we found out, we had to do an entire sweep of the kitchen, removing any utensils or replacing utensils and dishes and removing any flour that was of wheat. And the whole family as a whole, we switched our entire diet to try to help her progress into her new diet. And then over time, we went back to our regular way of eating, but it was super important that we really did that as a family so she didn't feel left out, and also to try to be more sympathetic to what she was going through and how she was feeling. She's very, very careful not to put anything in her body or anything on her body that has rye, wheat, or barley. So I think she's gonna be super excited about these bath bombs today. With all that chat said, let me go ahead and get these ingredients measured out. Got my baking soda measured out here. So I've added my baking soda to my mixing stand, and I'm going to give it a couple of squirts of water because it does actually help the bath bomb form a lot more smoothly. And I learned this from Jerica Zimmerman. And while that's mixing, I'm going to go ahead and measure out the rest of my dry ingredients. I've got to add SLSA powder cream of tartar. Give you guys a better view of what I'm pouring into the bowl. And I'm going to add the rest of my dry ingredients to my baking soda, and I'm going to continue to mix on low. Now let's give our wet ingredients a good stir. And now I'm going to measure out my citric acid. But before I weigh out my citric acid, I'm going to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients. And I'm going to continue to mix that on low. That fragrance blend smells so good, so good. All right, so now I'm going to add my citric acid inside of my wet and dry ingredients. All right. want to show you guys my making conditions first. Right now it is 74 degrees Fahrenheit and I am making these bath bombs in 28% humidity. That's very, very low. I've never done this before, so let's see how that works out. I noticed off the back that this mix seems, well, yeah, I don't know if I added too much spritz of water in here, but we'll see how it presses. I've got my gluten-free oats right here. I've got my medium round bath bomb mold, my medium round bath bomb mold. Let's see what it does. I used to get my fillings really, really hurt when I first started making bath bombs because it was so frustrating having so many failed batches. But after a while, I don't know, I just come to terms with it, you know? Some batches are a success, some batches are a fail, and I just keep moving, keep trucking. Let's see what this one does. Not good. Okay, not what I expected. You saw that it was really, the batter was really wet. That's why the mold stuck right there. Let's try to break it up a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something about that. Keep sticking. But they're still pretty. I'm on the struggle bus, but they're still pretty. All right, sorry about that interruption there. My camera overheated and it turned off. And for some reason, I think the microphone that I'm using is causing my camera to overheat. I don't know if it's pushing more power in there or draining it of power of some sort. I don't know. But let's get back to this celiac disease. So what is celiac disease? Well, celiac disease is when your body has an allergy to gluten that is found in rye, barley, or wheat. When you ingest gluten, over time, slowly but surely, the cilia in your digestive tract becomes damaged. And why is that important? Well, cilia is important because that's what our body uses to absorb vitamins and other nutrients. So when your cilia is damaged, your body is not able to absorb those vitamins and minerals. And over a long period of time, even though you may look healthy, you can become technically malnourished because you're lacking vitamin D and calcium and vitamin K and magnesium and whatnot. And while that's also important for the inside of your body, we exercise caution, and she just, you know, tries not to use those products on the outside of her body as well. So how did we find out that she had celiac disease? Every once in a while, she would get really sick and she would vomit profusely. And they would take her temperature. She didn't have a temperature. She didn't have a virus. She didn't have a cold. She didn't have any of that. So her doctor tested her her cilia levels. I guess that's what they're called. I don't know. And we went home, told her not to change her diet and come back and test it again. And the difference of those numbers is what indicated whether or not she had celiac disease or not. And those results came back positive, she had it. So we immediately made changes. If she ate a donut or a slice of bread, immediately she wouldn't feel sick. But over time she would. And that sickness just, it hurt so bad. She would vomit so bad, her stomach would hurt. And it just didn't feel good, it wasn't worth it. But I'm glad we found out before she was a full-grown adult. Because I just can't imagine her having years of that damage. My nephew, he also has the same condition. I think they got that from their grandmother on my mom's side. My nephew, my sister's son. So he loves coming to town. He's much older than her. I think he's 30 something. But he enjoys coming to town because we keep a cabinet full of gluten-free food, gluten-free snacks, hamburger buns, hot dog buns, brownies, flour. I mean, anything that you want to cook with, there's always gluten-free options in here. I wish they weren't so expensive though. I know you guys can't smell it, but this smells so good. I don't even know if you can hear me because Mason's so loud downstairs. So here are my gluten-free bath bombs. They smell so good. I found a really, really nice fragrance blend for them. And I used my shower steamer mold for this little bit of extra that I had. And I think my daughter or anyone else out there that has a gluten intolerance or celiac disease will definitely enjoy these bath bombs. A really small batch, but I was kind of unsure how I felt about this recipe and my making conditions. 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, 74 degrees Fahrenheit, 28% humidity. But look, they turned out great. So I think I'm actually gonna make a much bigger batch of these because I think they're gonna do well. I think they're gonna do really well. So my camera overheated again and I've got to go downstairs and cook dinner, so I'm just going to turn it off for a moment, let it charge, and then I'll probably give you guys a nice little sign off after dinner. So that wraps up my dinner preparation. We're gonna go ahead and make our plates and eat, and I just wanted to tell you all thank you for joining me for another day of Vlogmas. And if you want the recipe to those gluten-free bath bombs, they're gonna be posted on my Patreon, and my Patreon is also posted in that description box below. And I also want to say thank you to all my patrons for your continued support and your patience, and I will see you guys back for another Vlogmas.